In the frozen lands of Siberia, there is an 80-year-old grandma who skates on the ice.
Привет, нас Дейли.
When she was growing up, she was living near a frozen lake. So to get anywhere, she had to skate, and she loved it. But as she grew older, she had to move to the city. And in the city, she hated it up until she was 80 years old. That's when she decided to go back to her childhood life, move back to the village, buy some dogs and a farm near the lakes. Here she found happiness by skating every day. It is so simple. In a world where we are obsessed, like I am, with cities and lights, let's look at this grandma who found joy in the simplest things in life. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Mexico, I found a guy who makes salt with his feet.
Hola, Nas Daily. Soy Juan.
He is one of the last producers of natural salt in the world. His family has been doing it for hundreds of years. Back in the day, salt was very precious and rare. So salt makers made a lot of money by producing it. But now, big companies can make salt very cheap, so people like Juan barely make any money. His job is disappearing, but that doesn't bother him. He will keep producing 100% natural salt with his feet and maintain his family's tradition just because he loves it. Let's move away from processed food and go to organic food and support people like Juan so that he too can make money from doing what he loves. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Why is this teacher building a school desk for his students?
Hi, Nas Daily. I'm Nate Evans.
During the pandemic, Nate's students had to learn from home on Zoom. And he noticed that many of them were taking notes from the floor, from the bed, but not from a desk. We all know kids can learn better with a desk, so Nate decided to build them. He built and delivered one desk to each of his students. Even when his money ran out, even when he was diagnosed with a tumor in his arm, he kept making them because he knew that a simple desk could change a kid's education. With the help of 500 volunteers, he's now making over 2,000 desks. Nate is just a teacher who could have ignored the kids' problems, but he didn't. Teachers like him are the reason humanity is beautiful. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Do you know about the gossip game? It is when you whisper a message to a friend, "My girlfriend and I are having problems," who then tells it to another friend. By the time it reaches the end of the line, the message changes completely and people start spreading fake news.
Oh my gosh, your girlfriend cheated on you?
It happens everywhere. At home, traditions are passed from one generation to another verbally. But with each passing generation, things get distorted. So our grandparents might not have said exactly what we think they said. We cannot live our lives based on gossip or based on 2,000-year-old words, because more often than not, the original words have changed. And the closer we get to the original source, the closer we get to the truth. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy remembers everything, like literally everything. Meet Bob. If you give him a date from the past 50 years, he will tell you what he did, what clothes he wore, how he felt, and even what the weather was like.
The first time I voted was 1972. It was November 7th. And I voted for George McGovern.
He's like the Google search of memories. Doctors have studied him for many years to figure out why his memory is so good. The thing is, Bob also remembers the bad memories.
Like a breakup, for example, I immediately go back to a similar experience in the past, and I'm reliving it twice as hard as most other people.
This made me realize it's nice to have a good memory, but it's also nice to have a bad memory. Because in life, there are some things you just want to forget. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This is a true story about a guy who sent a spacecraft to the moon. Meet Yariv, an electrical engineer from Israel. One day, he had an idea to send something to the moon. So, he went to Facebook and asked
Who wants to go to the moon?
two of his friends said yes, and together they started building a spacecraft. After many years and many failures, they finally built the spacecraft. And finally, on April 11th, 2019, their spacecraft got very close to the moon, took a historic selfie with the moon, then crashed on the surface. But this wasn't a failure. They got to the moon. And now they're trying again, and they want to land a spacecraft safely on the moon. These are the crazy people that actually change the world. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. I just love to fail. Let me explain. 9 years ago, I was a university student who wanted to build a company. So I started with a news website where I wrote about the latest news every day. I wrote for hundreds of days, but nobody was interested in my news. I failed, but I didn't quit. The next year, I launched an app that showed you news in just 1 minute, but nobody even downloaded it. I failed again, but I didn't quit. The next year, I started a clothing rental company for people who travel, but even that failed. I was starting to lose hope. But here is the thing, every failure teaches you a lesson, and that is how I ended up with Nas Daily, a 1-minute daily video travel channel, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar company. You see, failure is the best thing to happen to you right before success. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy built a solar car from trash. Meet Emmanuel. He lives in Sierra Leone, where cars emit a lot of pollution. He had many ideas to fix the problem, but no money. So instead, he used his imagination. He collected lots of trash, put together metal, cane sticks, old cables, wires, and after 3 years of work, the imagination car was born in Singapore. This guy built a solar car from trash. Meet Emmanuel. He lives in Sierra Leone, where cars emit a lot of pollution. He had many ideas to fix the problem, but no money. So instead, he used his imagination. He collected lots of trash, put together metal, cane sticks, old cables, wires, and after 3 years of work, the imagination car was born. It had everything from doors to brakes to headlights to even a horn. This car can go up to 15 kilometers an hour, and its only fuel is the sun. Emmanuel built the impossible with nothing but junk. He is proof that the solution to Africa's problems may not come from Europe or America, but from Africans themselves. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. In Singapore, I found a guy who can kill fire in 1 second. Meet Judah.
Hi, my name is Judah J, and I am the Fire Terminator.
Judah spent years studying fires and came up with this liquid that can stop fires from destroying things. You can pour it anywhere and it will protect any object even after the solution dries up. See, when Judah was a kid, he was burned by fire himself, and he had to spend 45 days in a hospital recovering from second-degree burns. But unlike most of us, he did not avoid fire, he studied it and got a PhD in fire management to become an expert in the very thing that tried to kill him. Thousands of scientists like Judah are working to save the planet from burning. And if they succeed, we all succeed. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy went for a morning run and came back with 7,000 pounds of trash. Meet Curtis.
Hi, I'm Curtis, and I've pulled over 7,000 pounds of trash out of the creek so far.
One day, Curtis was jogging near a creek when he saw something crazy. In the water, there were mattresses, old beds, carpets, and even Christmas trees. Years and years of piled up trash, all floating down the river and polluting the planet. So, he turned his his morning runs into garbage pickups. And that's how he collected over 7,000 pounds of trash and convinced others to join him in the process. Run and clean.
Today is a pretty exciting day. It is our first group cleanup.
People like Curtis are the reason why our planet can be clean. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy from Indonesia has no arms, no legs, but he is one of the best photographers in Indonesia. Meet Zul. Throughout his life, his family and friends looked down on him because he was disabled. And for them, disabled means useless. But then one day, Zul picked up a camera and with only his arm muscles strapped it on his back. He used all the strength to press the shutter, and that changed his life. He took thousands of pictures, which were so good that he became popular on Instagram and got a scholarship to study photography. Then he designed his own car that can take him anywhere for his shoots. This guy is everything but disabled. It is the wrong word to use because people like him fight every day to stay alive. They are the most able people in the world. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy owns 200 million acres of the moon, and he got it all for free. Chris and his dad always loved real estate, but on Earth, real estate is super expensive. So they decided to buy properties on the moon. They found a loophole in the 1967 peace treaty. Turns out governments cannot own the moon, but maybe, just maybe, individuals can. So Chris's dad wrote a letter to the UN declaring that the moon was his, and the UN did not respond. He assumed he got approval and started selling land for anywhere between $25 to $500. And the crazy thing is, people are buying. Now, all he needs is either an approval or a rejection from the UN. If they approve, Chris might just become the richest landowner of the moon. If they don't approve, then this is all one big gimmick. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This guy cured his skin disease by eating only fruits. Pablo ate mostly junk food until he was diagnosed with a rare disease that made the skin on his body red and painful. He tried every medicine and treatment, but nothing worked. Then a doctor told him to try a plant-based diet. So he threw away the meat and fasted for 4 weeks, and then the first thing he ate was a fruit. Yummy. As he ate more and more fruits every day, his skin slowly started to heal. Fruits managed to heal him when no Western medicine could. He then decided to travel the world and try every single fruit. So far, he's gone to more than 20 countries and tasted more than 200 fruits. Pablo's disease and cure is a very unique story, but the idea is simple. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is eat fruit. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This teacher from Ghana teaches about computers by drawing them on a board. That's how poor the students are.
I drew every part of the computers, just giving my students a fighting chance against the kids in other parts of the world.
Richard is a teacher in Ghana where students cannot afford a computer. But he knew that computer skills are necessary if you ever want to get a job. So he taught his students about computers by drawing them. He drew the buttons, he drew the mouse, and the Microsoft Word. This way, if his students ever find themselves in front of a computer, they will know what to do. After years of drawing, Richard's story became famous, and people started to donate computers to the school. Because of him, donations allowed this school to finally build a computer lab for students to learn with an actual computer. These are the teachers that will actually change the world. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This 5-star hotel is a bubble in the middle of the desert. Welcome to Abu Dhabi, the city of hotels. This other hotel is like a mansion where the insides of every room look and feel like royalty. This hotel is built on top of sand. This hotel is built on top of a private island, and it has its own private beach and villa. And this hotel is built above the clouds, an actual actual billionaires come here to sleep. And hotels should not be expensive to be good. This hotel is a tent by the pool near the ocean. And this hotel is a 1980s van with its own sink, bed, and view. From sleeping in a bubble in the desert to sleeping in a van or a tent or a private island or above the clouds, hotels can be magical and unique. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. This 5-star